What's up, everyone? Welcome to the stream. We're going to start here in about 2 minutes, just doing a sound check here. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the stream. So we're going to be doing a few things today. So I'm going to do about 15 minutes of Q&A, which the mod's going to collect the questions now. And then I'm going to code for about 35 minutes, and then another 10 minutes of Q&A. So the thing we're building today is I'm going to be adding, this is from a suggestion from, make sure I get his name right here. His name is Shreyas. I don't remember his actual username, SGGST04, something like that. And he suggested that why don't I make some code where you can ask Felix, hey, is there an Engineer Man video on a particular topic? So like Felix video, regex. And then I thought I would take those words and then I would do a lookup with YouTube's data API and then return all the results. So that's what we're going to do for the actual coding piece. So let's see if there's any questions. Will you work on EMKC? Not on the stream, but I'm working on EMKC like every single day as soon as I have time. I'll be working on it a lot this weekend. What's your typical Monday to Friday day look like in terms of work? So I do have a day job where I do project management on a couple mobile apps. And then I also work on EMKC. I do a lot of side projects. I have a couple open source projects that I contribute to. And that's kind of a general day. It's all coding all day. Outside of work, I like to fly quadcopters. Well, that's about it right now. All right, looking through the chat here. If you have any questions, send it in the chat. Okay, we'll just jump right in the code, and then we'll go longer on the Q&A on the end. Okay, so what we're working with here is the YouTube data API, and this is kind of a cool, so I can make this bigger. Oh, I can, good. So this is a program called Postman, and it's something I wanted to show everybody because it's a program that everybody should use. If you work with any APIs, you need to send data to some HTTP endpoint. Like, this is a really, really cool program for that. And so it's good for what we're about to look at in terms of APIs. So what I did is, what I first need to get is I need to get the actual list of all the YouTube videos so I know what to search into. So if somebody says regex, I need to look at all the videos, and I need to determine which have the word regex or some other scientific way of figuring out if it's related to regex, and then to show that in the Discord channel. So I found an API for that, and it's the YouTube data API. They have several endpoints, but I'm not interested in all of them. Primarily what I'm interested in is like a video list. So I thought YouTube video list, and this thing's in the format of googleapis.com YouTube v3 videos, and then you specify a key, and then you're able to specify all of the parameters that you want to specify. So in my case, I need to specify actually, I'm sorry, this is not the right one. It's not videos, it's search. Sorry, that was my mistake. Actually, which one am I using here? It's v3 search API, which I don't see anymore. Search list, it's probably that one. There we go. This is the one I need. So there's several ways you could do it. You could search by a certain part. You could search by a channel ID. You can specify I want like 10 or 20 or 30 results, and then I want to paginate them so I can get sort of the rest. And before, I just have a lot on my screen. I'm trying to do it correctly here. So here's where Postman comes in. Is I can take the base URL here, and I can drop it into Postman. Now Postman is nothing more than just an HTTP client for making HTTP calls. So if I execute this, it says required parameter part, I also need a key and stuff like that. I'm not actually specifying the right stuff. So I'm going to specify a key now. So now I have a key, but I also need, actually I could do this better. Params. That'll be easier. So it makes me specify a key. It makes me specify a channel ID, which I can just get from my channel directly. And my channel ID is that. And now I gotta specify a part. And that's saying like which parts of the actual results do I want. So in this case, through the documentation, I found that I want the snippet and the ID. I want to order those by date. And then max results is, you can do anywhere from 1 to 50, I think is what it allows. So I'll just do 20, so I have something to paginate. So you can see I ran it and it did work. So let's have a look at this data. So you can see I got some results. I got my very last video, bzip. and then continuing on, deep dive into my tech, and then the project review, and then of course my live stream, and so on and so forth. So this is all the data I need. Primarily what I'm interested in here is the items, and then I also need this next page token. What they do is they let you request 50 results at a time, but if you need to paginate to a second page, then you have to use this next page token. So this is only page 1, 20 results. And if I want to get more results, I got to take this next page token and I have to add it into here. So page token and then that. Now when I run it, I get more results. You can see now the results start at classes, Python basics, functions, Python basics. So now we're 20 videos back in the list of videos that I have. So from here, I could just take this entire URL, well, the whole deal, the constructed one, and then I can take that into Node. So I'm adding a new command. What I want to do is I want to match it's important that I match an actual Felix term. So in this case, I'm going to match Felix, what was it? Felix video? I don't know, Felix video. The intent is to say Felix video regex, and then it goes out and it finds a regex video. Or if there's no results, it just comes back and says, hey, there's no engineer man video on regex, for instance. So this should match, beginning of the line, Felix video, and then there. So at this point, I can start constructing my code to go out and look for the term. But I got to first get the term. So I'll do like I do every other time, is I'll just split the string on the word video. If I split the string on the word video, then I know the next element after that is going to be the search term, and I'll just trim it. So I guess do a quick test here to make sure it works. I'm just going to restart FelixBot. And then go into staff room, Felix vid. Oh, I know you can't see it. Let me get a different terminal here so you can actually watch the actual output. Okay, so now in my, I'm in the staff room right now. I'm just typing, Felix video, whatever, and then you can see, well, yeah. So people are doing foo and stuff like that. So and anybody that were to type Felix video something in the chat, would show up here. But don't do that right now. It's just for me. So that's good. I have my term, and so the next step is I need to make calls to these. To this endpoint, and I gotta gather up all the videos. Actually, the first thing I have to check is what happens when I max out the result, because I need to know when it stops. I can't just make HTTP requests forever. It has to stop at some point. So I'll do max results 50, send. I'll take this next page token. Okay, so obviously that's how it does it. Is you can see that I only have a prev page token. So if I don't have a next page token, that must be how they're telling me that there's no more results. So I'll use that as the way where I know. So I need to now construct my actual, okay, I got request. That's what I need. So I'll start by creating an array, something like final, or no, how about video titles? So in here, I'm just going to construct an array of strings of video titles from my videos. And then I will just loop over and grab all those titles, stuff them into that array, and then I can mess with it after that. So I can start with, well, I'll do an infinite loop. I'll do var video await. Okay, I'm going to put this in a different function. So we'll do alright. Var video equals await request. And here method is get. URL is, and I got a whole bunch of stuff here. Ooh, big long one. So I'm just going to line these up all nicely just so I can read this URL properly. Got the key, got the channel ID, got the parts I need, got the order, max results. Now max results I'm just going to put at 20 just so I have several pages. I think I only have like 50 or 60 or something like that videos, so I don't want to max all that out. And then page token. So I have to do, I basically put this in a loop. Then I need to check if every time I execute this, the first thing I do is check to see if there's no next, what was it, next page token? Let's see here. So I'm looking for next page token. I can't remember if it's video.data. I'll investigate that in a second. So let's just work towards getting just one. Let's comment out my loop. All I want to do here is just get one, get one thing. And instead of calling Felix every time, yeah, I'll just call Felix every time. That's fine. So Felix video regex. So you can see it gave me some stuff. Gave me a whole bunch of stuff, and that's actually exactly what I wanted. So that's great. So I need to get the title out of everything. So I got to go items, and then items, then snippet, then title. So video.items for each. I guess I should have done videos. So videos.items for each video. And then where's my, let's see, where's my big array? I'm trying to watch the chat as well. So I'll do video list.push, and then it's going to be video dot, what was it? Video dot snippet dot title. So this should give me a list of all the video titles, at least for the first 20. So I'll do console.log video list. I'll try it again. Felix video regex. Oh, something broke. Cannot read property for each one defined. So videos. What did I do wrong here? It could be I need. It could be that it's data. I had this problem on the last stream where I did the wrong thing. Let's try that again. Oh, still wrong. Items undefined. So obviously I am doing the wrong things here. That's fine. It's got to debug. It's got to figure out what the actual content of videos is. I'm obviously not aware of what that is. Okay. It looks like it's items. Oh, you know why? Because I didn't specify, I gotta specify JSON true, simple true. I think I had actual stringified JSON was the problem. Let's try this again. What's going on here? Okay, so I got object and then items. Looks like exactly what I'm doing. Oh, it's this stupid thing. I'm outputting stuff doesn't exist. Alright. Sorry about that. Hey, this is programming. This is how it works. So Felix video regex. Videos.items, videos.push, video.snippet. Video.snippet.title. Yeah, should be what I need. There we go. That's what I wanted. So this gave me the whole list of all the videos, at least for the first 20. So now it's just a matter of getting the rest. So to do that, I actually need to break this out into a variable called URL. I need to do that because I need to conditionally add, you know, the next page token. So the first result, I don't want a page token. So page token would just be blank. However, every result after that, I need to have a page token. So conditionally, I can add here, you know, if there's a page token, then add that to the end. How are we doing on questions? Okay, I'm going to answer some in a second. Let me make sure this is right. So I got next page token. And then each time I finish here, I need to set the page token to videos.next page token. And at the end, it's going to set that to undefined. So it'll loop around again and then if there's no page token, then it should just end. Or I'm sorry, if there's no if there's no next page token, so it could actually do it here. I do need to add the videos first, but then I can do, if there's no page token, then just break, or rather return. Probably easier. This should be pretty close. Let me give it a shot here. Maybe it'll go into an infinite loop, mess everything up. Yep, so something's messed up, so I'll need to actually log some stuff. So I'll log this URL so I know what it's executing. So it should be none on the first one, and then page token, and I think it's page token. Right? Is it page token or next page? Yeah, it's page token. So I'm doing it fine. Oh yeah, probably need an equal sign. Well, that seemed right. It did 3 requests, and the 3 requests is what it should. Let's see if it did that right. So max results, but there's no page token there. Oh, I gotta do it afterwards. Do break instead. So you can see I have a bug in my code, obviously, because I am doing page token. Oh no, it's different page token. CBQQA, CCGQA. There we go. So that's a list of all my videos. So at this point, I can actually do the searching, and yeah, pretty cool. Look at all that. So now it's just a matter of just looking at the ones that have the word, you know, whatever the search term is. So I will just filter. Video list equals video list dot filter. That'll give me the actual video, and then all I'll do now is do return. So I got my term up here. So I want to compare the lowercase version and see if it equals the video, or see if, sorry, return So I'm doing here is I'm taking the lowercase version of the video title, and then I'm taking the lowercase version of the term. That way it doesn't have to, you know, look. And this is it's a very simple thing. It's just looking for just a simple word, and it's using index of to find it. So if it finds it, then it'll, you know, add it to the video list. Otherwise, it'll take it out. So this should be pretty close. How are we doing on time here? What's the total stream time so far? 30 something minutes, 36 minutes. All right, we're doing good, doing real good. All right, Felix video regex. Video is not defined. Just a little typo there. No big deal. Oh, broken. Nope, nope, there it is. Filter of undefined. Second typo. Third time's the charm. Empty array. And that is because I don't have a video that has regex, I don't think. So I will do Felix video regular. There we go. So this is what I wanted. I got my list. And what I really should have done is I really should have stored the actual URL, because the next step now is I need to send that video ID. Yeah, Pizza says I have a regex video. I have a regex video, but I didn't label it regex. I labeled it regular expressions. So, but what I could probably do is look in both the title and the actual description of the video. If I do that, I can cover everything. So I'm going to make a couple modifications here. The one thing I need in the results is I need the actual video URL, and I'm assuming that's in here. Yeah, it is. So video ID is going to be that guy right there. So items.id.videoid. So rather than pushing just a title, I'm going to push an object. I'm going to push the title, and then I'm going to push the ID. I guess I'll put the ID at the top. And the ID is video.id.videoid. And then for filtering, filtering is going to be slightly different now. Rather than so I'll do this a little different now. It's going to be video.title. Term.lowercase. I'll probably just leave that up there. Be fine. So then I'll put my video list again. So let me just make sure that still works. So now I should have an actual object. Felix video regular. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Look at that. So now I have the ID, and I can do other searches as well. I can do Felix video Python. Gives me a whole bunch. Felix video. I don't know. What else do I have? bzip. So there we go. It's working great. Now I have the ID. Now I have the title. All I got to do now is just have Felix respond. So what I'll do is I will do if video list dot length. Of course, if it's a 0 video length, then I just need to respond and say no videos found for, and then supply the term. Do an else if video list dot length is exactly 1. Then I can do I found a good video, and then specify the actual link to it. So I'll do HTTPS. So I just got to go over here and just check what the format for YouTube is. ACID. So 3 equals means it matches both value and type. 2 equals means it matches just value. Alright, so the format for the video is this plus the actual ID. So I will do var video. Just take the first element of the video, specify ID, and then of course the else is you know, I found several videos. I don't know how well this is going to work, so we'll see. So I'll do message. Found several videos. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop over the video list. And then just append the link to there. I think it should work. Maybe it will. We'll see. And now it's got to do a new line. I don't know how well that works on Discord. We'll see. Try not to blow up my API though. Okay, I can get rid of my URL logging here. Alright. I'm going into the general chat. I'm gonna tear that up right now. Felix video regular. Look at that. If you're in the regular chat, you can see that it's working. Felix video Python. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Nice. Okay, everybody's destroying my API right now. Here, I'm gonna pull the Discord down so people can see what's going on. So everybody is just loading it up. So yeah, this is that's kind of the whole project. You know, I wrote it kind of quick. I mean, I did it in the period of, I think I stayed right on time. What are we at here? We're at 43 minutes. So I did that about 35 minutes. And it's kind of the whole project. Every time there's a max of 1 M units. Yeah. I don't know what the API limits are. I mean, it's a free API. I don't know if it will, you know, I don't know if it'll, I'm sure there's API limits. I'm sure, you know, only a certain number of requests can be done. But yeah, so this is this is pretty cool. This is yeah, I think we're done here. So that's kind of the project. So I'm going to, I'll leave that running for now. We'll see if the API dies. So fairly simple code. You know, just to recap what I did. You know, I got the term from whatever, you know, Felix got from the Discord, and then I looped over the YouTube API requesting, you know, results every time. Actually, one thing I can do is I can change this to 50 just to cut down on the API calls. It should still work. Let's see, Felix video threading. Look at that. That is pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So I could see I need to put a new line on. I found several videos. my own admins are trying to break the software. It's good. Okay, time for questions. Well, actually, no, not time for questions. Time for recap. So the recap is get the term, create an array for videos, loop over the YouTube API several times to get all the videos for the channel. If it's the second request or farther, then add the page token. That way you get all the pages for all the results. Make the actual request, and then basically loop over all the items and then push the ID and the title into the array. Filter out all the videos that don't match a given word, and then just determine what to do. So in this case, I handled the case where there's no videos. I handled the case where there's exactly one video, and I handled the case where there's just several videos. And I should probably truncate that. Should probably only list the top, you know, 5 or 10. I'll probably make this better later. There's more sciencey things I can do instead of just a direct word match, but I think this is pretty good for now. We'll probably work on this a little later. Oh, someone just did Felix video at everyone. Actually, that's fine. Felix can't at everyone, so I don't care. All right. Time for questions. I'm just going to start from the top here. What is your favorite Vim shortcut? I don't really have one. I don't use Vim that often. I use it every now and again if I'm kind of a nano guy. I like nano. But if I go onto a server and there is no nano, then I break out Vim. What do you host in your local servers? So I put out my tech video that I had a server here in my house, but what I failed to mention is what I was actually running there. A lot of people thought that I ran all my websites and all my cloud stuff on my server in my home, and that's not really accurate. Everything I run that's publicly accessible, with the exception of my Git server with GitLab, is going to be located in the cloud. So for stuff that I run here, I run a lot of VMs. I have all my code. I have pretty much everything I've ever done on there, and I store it. I store all my data that I've collected over however long. Somebody did rm-rf / nice. Good luck with that. That's not gonna work. Okay. I'm gonna turn it off just in case somebody does find an exploit. So yeah, local servers is for files, it's for development, I have a lot of computers here, and the intent was to have just one central location for everything, and then all the other computers could just be thought of as terminals. That cut down on the amount of hard drive space I needed and things like that. So everything I do on all my computers, they all associate with one central server. How long have you been coding, and what got you started? I've been coding for now 24 years. I started when I was 9 years old, and I started with Visual Basic 3 on Windows 3.1. And what got me started was just an interest in how computers can be automated. I thought that was very fascinating, and I've been a technologist ever since. What Python 3 library is good for collision, but not Pygames? I don't know what that means. What is a/e? I don't know what that means either. Are you experienced with Flask? Yes. So Flask and Django, I've done a project in Flask. It was a long time ago. I had sort of what led up to Engineer Man was this thing called eBrian, and I had a site called ebrian.org. It's not online anymore, but it came out around the same time that Khan Academy came out, so I was doing kind of the same thing. I was making videos, and I was making it interactive. People would earn points for watching videos, and that was sort of the whole point of it. So that was all in Flask, and I enjoyed doing it. It was a nice thing. As far as Django, nah, I've never used it. I've looked into it, but Django kind of came, I think, after Flask. Where is Chase? Chase is sleeping because that's what he does. It's my father in the chat. I told him to come to stream. Let's see. Do you love coding all the time, or are there times where you get frustrated? Yes. I code all the time. I code pretty much from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. But yeah, I get frustrated. I also get frustrated too. I mean, just here right now, I got a little frustrated on some stuff because I like the stuff to just work. I'm just like everybody else. I make errors, and my stuff doesn't go together perfectly every time, just like other people. Do I ever get frustrated to where I just don't want to do it anymore? The answer is not really. Usually my frustrations are brief, and I get through it and move on. I'm more about like, how can I handle this problem? How can I get this done? How can I do it the best? I've been programming long enough to where, like, I don't get caught up on a bug, for several hours anymore, or go to bed. Oh, we got a dog here. Got mystery dog. Mystery dog on stream. So I get a little frustrated, but I just press forward and just keep coding. Just keep practicing, and eventually you'll see. I know people who've only been coding, for a few months or even under a year or something like that. It's tough to realize a time where you just kind of write code really great every time, and you eventually will. You'll eventually be to the point where you're like, you know what, coding's the easy part. The hard part now is thinking about the project in the big picture and figuring out how you plan to actually accomplish it. That's the hard part. When can we finally expect a Python live stream? So the reason I do Node.js live streams is because Node.js is the language that I know the absolute best. And to be cognizant of the time, I try to notice that I'm not reviewing any documentation for Node. I've been using it so long that I know I can write anything without having to look anything up. Python, yeah, I'm pretty good at Python, but I probably would have had to look up probably some documentation for requests. I don't know that I could have written that as quickly. So that's the only reason why. A Python live stream, tell you what, I will commit to an all Python live stream next live stream, for sure. It'll all be Python. Do you have any advice for getting more familiar with Python and new modules? So start with learning the basic Python modules, because you need to know that anyways. It's the core to the language, and you got to start there. As far as all other modules, I really just go to Google and type in Python module for, and then fill it in with whatever you want. MySQL or whatever. And if you do that, you'll find the module you want. There's Python modules for everything. Yeah, it's interesting. The Mr. Death by Reaper. It's sort of the exact. It's kind of the exact opposite. It's always coding's the easy part now. I mean, for me to just sit down and write code, that's no problem. It's always, well, like take Engineer Man Knowledge Center for instance. The one thing I was worried about there was the actual structure of all the comments. That data model that allowed for infinite depth replies, and that's kind of a challenging thing if you think about it. And you should tell me in the Discord how you would have solved that. I'm curious if it's similar to what I did. But that was one thing where I knew I could implement it. I knew as soon as I got the query right and I got all the backend right, I knew writing the code wouldn't be a problem. So yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that the thinking is the easy part and the coding's the hard part, because it's sort of the exact opposite. Oh, Akedi. Okay, yeah, I've seen you in the chat several times. All right, what does anyone ever tell you look like Seth Bling? No, never. Who is Seth Bling? Hold on. Come on, no I don't. Are you sure? Slight resemblance. I don't know. Definitely not my doppelganger, though. Okay, what does for semicolon semicolon mean? So for semicolon semicolon, in the for loop you have three stages. You have the initialization, you have the condition, you have the step. You can omit any or all of those. So if you omit all of them, it's just an infinite loop. But you could specify just the step. You could specify just the condition. You could specify just the initialization and the condition and do the step manually. So yeah, that can just be thought of as an infinite loop. What is the most embarrassing bug you've ever had in a script, such as a missing semicolon, missing comma? The thing about the missing semicolon, missing comma is those are errors that Node will just notify, well, not Node, but languages that actually care about semicolons will just notify you, immediately about. If you try to compile C code, for instance, and you're missing a semicolon, it's just going to say, hey, you're missing a semicolon. So probably the most embarrassing bug. I just don't know. That's a tough one. I'm trying to give you an answer for it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have one. I'll get back to you on that. How old were you when you started programming? I was 9. How long ago did it take you to learn it? I I mean, I didn't start getting really good till my teens and then beyond, but 9 is when I started. What do you think of the EU? What do you think of the EU banning memes? Article 9 and 13. Yeah, I actually talked in my channel a little bit. I don't want to go too far into that because it's politics, and we don't do politics on the channel. But I generally think it's bad. Nuffly, what does exclamation mark tilde do? So that's the super ninja. Wait, let me go back to the code here. Oh, I'm huge. That's okay, I could stay huge. So what this syntax is doing is this is a super ninja way of converting the index of result to something that's usable. So basically, if there's no match, I think it gives you a -1. Otherwise, it gives you a positive number of the first occurrence of where it's at. So if you use the tilde, which is a bitwise operator, it inverts things, and then you can, basically do exclamation mark is the same as cast boolean. So, like, if you do, exclamation mark 0, then you're basically casting to a boolean. So the same thing, with a string, or if you cast that, it's true because a string that's not blank is a truthy value. So you can use 2 exclamation marks to get the boolean value of something, and then the actual tilde is just the bitwise operator. So this is sort of I don't know, it's just how I've always done it. It's kind of an esoteric way of doing it. I don't actually think this is required because filter would... Oh no, it is required because filter is not going to just cast it to a boolean, so you have to do that. Like you could use it in an if statement without the 2 exclamation marks, and that would be fine. All right, how are we on time here? 59 minutes. So we got about 9 minutes left. On his server, the Dell R620, how does he access his data typically? Remote mount. Okay, that's a good question. So on my workstation, I have 2 things going on. I use SSHFS to mount. It's basically a network share between yeah, so what Calix said in the chat, that nobody feel any need to donate. I don't ask for donations. You're more than welcome to. I greatly appreciate it, but you absolutely don't have to. It's not anything that's required on my channel, in my Discord, or anywhere. So okay, as far as the server, yeah. So I have 2 SSHFS mounts. One is for my just normal data. I have a separate hard drive. If you watch my video, I do a lot of drone flying, so I have just gigabytes and gigabytes upon gigabytes of drone footage. So I have a separate mount point for that I use to put all that into, and then then I have probably 12 or 15 terminals open all the time that just have various things, database tails or web servers or whatever. Okay, let's see. I'm a bridge engineer who studied C# for 3 to 4 months. Would you recommend studying advanced topics like trees, sets, or focus any attention on relatively basic app that I want to design? So I hate giving answers like it depends, but this is one of those things that are, that are, it depends. You should always learn skills that do one of two things for you: further your professional interests or further your personal interests. So I learn things all the time that can't help me in professional, but I'm interested in them, so I do them anyways. Like I've researched, say, assembly language before. When am I ever going to use assembly language? Well, I'm not. I'm never going to use that professionally. Probably wouldn't use that professionally. And, but I do it anyways because it's interesting to how computers are put together and how coding, talks to hardware. So it's important to know. So to answer that question is, you should study advanced topics like trees and sets if you reasonably believe that to be something you would use in the future. But you should also focus on basic stuff because the basics is what you build on. Have you ever used Sentry.io for error logging? No, I have not. You should tell me in Discord what that is, though. Do you have strong opinions about specific companies or technologies in general? That's an interesting question. Yeah, you know what? I have an answer for that. So, I'm huge on open source. I love open source. I can't stand proprietary software, so that's why I reject things like Microsoft and I reject things like Apple. It's because they're software manufacturers that are totally interested in profit and not open source software. So I don't like that. The reason I have an Android is because the software is open source. I don't like when somebody sells me $1,000 thing and says you can't look inside it. No, that doesn't work for me. So I'm always gravitating towards the open source side. I'm way more interested in that stuff. And so yeah, I have some pretty strong opinions about companies like Microsoft and Apple, who are just completely closed source and just in for the money. I don't like that. Can we have a video on you come to stat? I don't know what that means. Okay. How many online businesses do you own? It's probably easier to say how many online businesses am I associated with, and it's in the tens. I have my hands in a lot of stuff across a number of different spaces across the entire country. Oh, I missed a question. Your server 24/7, how much does that cost? Not as much as you might think. Pizza and I actually did that calculation the other day, and we found that my server cost me like $13 a month. Primarily because it's mostly idle, and I run SSDs. They're very efficient, so it doesn't cost me all that much. Are you working remote for a company? Yes, I do work out of my home 100%. I don't go into an office unless I want to. And occasionally I do, because you shouldn't stay in your home all the time because you turn into a weird guy. So you gotta go in and see people. Make sure you always have a good work-life balance. Go in and see people and whatever. I'm competing. Let's see. What custom emotes, whatever you want. How do I make money for a living? 100% software. I make 100% of my money from doing software stuff, and a related question is in there. It says what would it say? Oh yeah, is it necessary to have 8 monitors? So one big piece of feedback I got on the tech video is that who needs 8 monitors? Who needs so many? I have 2 and it's too many. I'm telling you, if you have 2 monitors, go get a third, and then you're going to use the third, and then go get a fourth, and you're going to use the fourth, and then go get 12, and guess what? You're going to use all 12. So it is absolutely required. I'm a big proponent of have the right tools for the job and get the job done right. For me, I mean, my monitors, I think I got them a couple of years ago on Black Friday. I want to say I paid like $220 a piece. So what's that? 1,720. So for about $1,700, I drastically increased my productivity. And by drastically increasing your productivity, you can charge people more. So I probably made all the money back for these monitors within the first week of having them. And so economically speaking, you should stack your desk up with as much monitors as you can possibly fit on them. Let's see. What about your eyes? Do you need glasses? I don't currently need glasses. My right eye is better than my left eye, but I've been staring at a computer monitor for 12 to 16 hours a day for pretty much my whole life, and I've been okay. But, you know, who knows when that's going to end. But right now I'm okay. I can see fine. Okay, I saw a couple questions here in the... Have you tried extra wide curved monitors? So I have, not here. Like I went to look at them because I was interested about the appeal, you know, of these monitors. And the thing I have about curved monitors is my setup is already kind of curved, and I felt if I had curved monitors, now I kind of have these curved monitors that go together in a curved layout, and I felt that would look weird. What all languages do you actually know? A lot. I would say I have near fluency in, for sure, you know, PHP, JavaScript, Node, HTML, CSS. I would say near fluency in things like Python, C, Ruby, and then everything else is just working proficiency. I have working proficiency in Go and C# and several other ones. Okay, we're almost done. I'm just going to look for one or two more questions. Where should you start if you want to learn JS? You should go straight to Code Academy and just do the free stuff they have there. I'm a big proponent of Code Academy. I like and I dislike Code Academy. I like it because it gets people in and it gets people working in code, and the purpose of Code Academy is to help you determine if this is something you want to pursue more on your own. And so if you get through Code Academy and you're just salivating, you know, for more coding, then at that point I have a different recommendation for you. All right, one more question. P.S. You have one BA channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, this will be the last question. How should you learn the more complex parts of a programming language? And this applies to really any language. You got to read the documentation. I can't tell you how many times I've gone through the MDN and read all the documentation for JavaScript. It's the only way you're going to learn, you know, every last piece of it, and it's the best way to learn. The documentation is always up to date. It's not some third party's opinion. You know, it's the author of the library who's writing the documentation for it, and it's a great place to start. I think that's it. We're about 1 minute over. I think that's okay. So that's it for the stream. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you had a good time and learned something, and you know, we made a new bot, so that's pretty cool. You should, if you're not in the Discord already, get there and make sure you're checking out Engineer Man Community Center. It's a really awesome site. We're building it out with a number of different features. I just implemented code rooms, collaborative IDEs, so you can check that out. So it's beta. It's kind of messy, but it works. Other than that, thanks to each and every person for showing up to the stream. We got about 100 viewers concurrent. That's pretty great. And I'll be releasing a video tomorrow. I think you'll like it. It's on what is an API. And other than that, look forward to seeing you around. Take care.